Welcome to Wanderlust and Wishes, the podcast where we explore the world one destination at a time.
I'm Julie.
And I'm Krystle.
As travel agents with Fantastical Vacations, we are here to share our passion for travel and help you turn your wanderlust into reality.
From hidden gems to bucket list adventures, join us as we dive into the sights, sounds, and stories of our favorite destinations.
So grab your passport, pack your bags, and let's embark on this journey together. Welcome to episode 47 of Wanderlust and Wishes. Today, we're going to talk about cruising under $5,000. Krystle and I have talked a lot about how popular the cruise industry is, or how popular taking a vacation by cruise has become, and that the cruise industry has kind of exploded. I think a lot of people often feel like they can't afford to go on a cruise, especially with the current environment and economy. But there are lots of options for under $5,000. We looked across couples, families of four, family of five, a family of four with young kids, a family of four with older kids. So we're going to talk a little bit about that. And we're going to start off with just giving you an idea of the different cruise lines that we used, what they're best known for, just to give you some background.
All right, let's start off with MSC Cruises. They are best known for their modern mega ships. They have a little bit of like European flair, and they are considered like a value-driven luxury. They have an innovative fleet. They have been rapidly expanding, as have all of them right now. They introduced some of the world's largest ships, like the MSC World Euphoria, featuring cutting-edge design and technology. The European influence, since they are a European cruise line, they offer like cosmopolitan atmosphere with multilingual staff and diverse international cuisine, appealing to a global audience. And then their value packages, MSC provides competitive pricing with options to customize experience through packages that include drinks, Wi-Fi, and specialty dining.
Okay, next we will also talk through Disney Cruise Line. They are best known for their family-focused experiences with, of course, Disney Magic and their exceptional service. Disney is well known for immersive storytelling. They bring that to their cruise ships with the ship design, the entertainment, the dining, just creating a magical experiences across all ages. Obviously, with being family friendly, they have a lot of family friendly amenities with very age specific kids clubs and family activities. They also do have adult only areas. They do have the ability for you to go on your cruise with your children and still have some adult time. They also have their private islands. They're known for Castaway Cay, has been around for a while. And then they just recently introduced Lighthouse Point, and that has been maybe about a year or so.
Next, we have Royal Caribbean International. They are best known for innovative ships packed with adventure and entertainment options. Mega ships with neighborhoods. Ships like the Icon of the Seas feature distinct neighborhoods offering a variety of experiences from Central Park-inspired areas to entertainment zones. Thrilling activities. They are very good at onboard adventures, including like surf simulators, skydiving experiences, zip lines, mega slides, all kinds of fun things. Private destinations. They have destinations like Perfect Day at Coco Cay. They're working on places in Nassau for like a excursion, and also Perfect Day Mexico has also been announced. So Perfect Day at Coco Cay has like a massive water park, and it provides like an exclusive beach experience with relaxation plus adventure. We are not talking about today, but Royal Caribbean's sister company is Celebrity, which is just the same vibes, the same kind of things, but catered more to adults than the family aspect.
Yeah. Okay, so Norwegian Cruise Line, they are best known for flexible cruising with a focus on entertainment and diverse dining. They have freestyle cruising. So Norwegian pioneered the relaxed cruising style without fixed dining times or formal dress codes, just allowing their guests a little bit more freedom and flexibility. They have Broadway style shows to virtual reality experiences. So they have lots of different entertainment options suitable for all ages. They also have diverse itineraries. They provide extensive Caribbean tours and have introduced long-term voyages like the 371-day world cruise tailored for Australia and New Zealander travel.
Last but not least is Princess Cruises. They are best known for elegant cruising with a focus on destination immersion and personalized service. The destination focused itineraries, they offer extensive routes to over 330 ports globally, and they do a lot with cultural experiences and in-depth exploration, like bringing local cuisine and chefs on at ports to cook you dinner that night. They have medallion class experience. They have wearable technology that enhances the cruising experience with features like keyless stateroom entry and personalized service. Think Magic Band and a classy medallion, basically.
Yeah.
Culinary excellence with partnerships like Spellbound by Magic Castle and renowned chefs. Princess delivers exceptional dining experiences. We also get the question a lot of like, what can I do to knock my cruise fare down? Or how do I find a better deal or get it for cheaper? So we also have a little list of things that we kind of will steer clients towards to help save a little bit of money.
One of the first things that we're always, always, always going to recommend is to book early. The days of being able to book kind of last minute cruise deals, those really don't happen very often anymore because of how popular cruising has become. Usually there's not anything left by the time you get close to when it's going to be leaving. And it's more like the airlines where it's more expensive because there's only a couple of staterooms left and not that they're trying to get rid of a bunch of staterooms and giving it to you for a great deal. Booking early is always going to be really the better option. We will look for better deals later on. I've looked for multiple cruises for families that I've been working with over the last year, and nothing that's ever released is better than what they originally booked when they book like a year in advance.
The next thing on the list would be to use a travel advisor. Shameless plug here. Sometimes, not always. There's often the misconception that just because you work with a travel agent means that we have better prices. That's not always the case, but we do have access to things like group pricing. Like if you were to have a big group, sometimes we can add extra onboard credit or agency only discounts that you can't get on your own. So, for example, Disney Cruise Line, we give everybody onboard credit as a thank you for booking with us. We'll talk more about that later when we talk about our Disney quote that we pulled. But I feel like that is a huge savings. So,
yeah, it makes a big difference. Number 3, check port fees and taxes. So when you see something advertised for, $2.99 a person, that's probably going to be with no taxes and port fees. And it's going to be an inside stateroom that's probably at the very back of the ship. So just make sure that you realize what it is that the pricing is, because once you get into it, it's more than likely going to be a lot more than that once you add in all the extras. And to be honest, if you add in travel protection, which we always recommend, and if you add in your gratuities, which are going to come out anyway, a lot of times it's easier to just go ahead and put that in your cruise price. It's going to be more expensive. The total is going to be more expensive.
another way is to consider repositioning cruises. These are one-way routes. Think like a Puerto Rico to Port Canaveral or Hawaii to Vancouver. They're often cheaper per night with more sea days, so they're great for laid back travelers. But the biggest caveat here is you have to have a passport for these. It's just the way the cruising laws and rules work. You can't sell on a birth certificate. And then you just have to do 2 one-way plane tickets. So no round trips if you get a better deal on your round trip.
Compare the different departure ports. Usually the more popular ports are going to be more expensive. If you have the ability to sail from a port like Tampa or Miami or even Fort Lauderdale instead of Port Canaveral, though it's usually less expensive as long as it's, not going to be so much more expensive to get to those locations that it doesn't really make any sense to do it. But if you're able to get there for the same price, those are typically less expensive. Disney Cruise Line is currently pushing cruises for Fort Lauderdale and Galveston, Texas right now because they're trying to push these ports, the pricing is pretty good.
Another thing that we tell people is to cruise off season. So sailing the Caribbean during hurricane season, which is June through November, or Alaska, which is in May or September for lower prices. I know a lot of people worry about potential of storms, but as long as you have the travel protection, you're probably safer at sea than you are in a park because they can sail around it. They aren't going to get stuck in the middle of it. It's not going to come right at them. They can skirt it. I think I was looking last hurricane season, Disney Cruise Line canceled one sailing because the one before them stayed out an extra day and then to catch up. So of all the cruises they send out every day, all year, if you only cancel one for a storm, I think that's pretty good odds.
Yeah. And you may miss out on a port. That's the one thing. Like they may have to go somewhere else and or go to a different port than you were, or a different stop than you were expecting. But otherwise, like they really try not to cancel.
Just get the travel insurance.
Yeah, for sure. Look for added value and not just the price. A lot of times there are promotions that will throw in free drink packages, Wi-Fi, or specialty dining, and those do add up if you purchase, if you were to purchase those in addition to the cruise price, that it makes a big difference. So definitely start looking at that. Something like Disney Cruise Line includes the soda package. You don't have to pay extra for that. Like, I don't think that any other cruise line does that. Every other cruise line, you have to pay extra for each person that's in your room to get soda.
When we're looking between Royal and Disney, we automatically add like another, I think it's like $21 per day per person. So for a family of five, even at $100 a day, it might be, if it's $500, it might be a lot better value for us to go to Disney because it's included. Next on the list is being open to guaranteed rooms. This is why there's not really last minute deals anymore, is because they sell these guaranteed rooms. It is a gamble. Just be cautious. Yes, they can be cheaper, but you could also end up under the nightclub or next to the casino, underneath the pool deck. So the ship chooses your location and you usually don't know until you get there. So if you're open to it and not going to spend much time in your room, it might be a way to save money. But if you're trying to be next to a different state, like next to family, or if you want to be on a certain side of the ship to see certain things, it's not going to be the thing for you. But people are open to it.
Yeah, and sometimes too, they'll do that with if there's a room that has like a partial view, those are less expensive. And if you're able to kind of look at where it is, a lot of times it'll say partial view, but it's maybe like 10% blocked. Like you like wouldn't even notice it if it didn't have it, but they have to sell it that way. You might be able to get a good deal like that as well, as long as you're not going to be completely upset if you get a little bit of your view blocked.
Yeah, nowadays with the technology, there's just about a room walkthrough or picture on YouTube or social media if you search the ship. So it's always kind of fun to like see what's out there and get like a virtual tour of your room before, so then you know what you're walking into.
I did have a family that they're traveling actually this next week for the spring break from where I live in my area. She got the last room of the room type that she wanted. And it did have on there that it was kind of a partial view, or, there was a partial blockage or something. And we were able to look at it. And if she switched it to a different room type, I mean, it was going to be significantly more expensive because she had a family of five. And once she was able to see the room, she was like, "Oh yeah, it's fine. That's not a big deal. It's not worth us paying like an extra $1,000 basically." I mean, it was going to be a lot more expensive if she were to switch to a different room type so that they didn't have that little tiny block space on their balcony. So it's definitely worth it if you're willing to definitely work with a travel agent so that we can help you through that, and just be aware and flexible. You can get a pretty good deal.
That reminded me of an instance where it was for our own family. We were doing a booking, and I will tell you right now, it's hard to find rooms for a family of five. They are out there, and some cruise lines do them better than others. And we can see them on certain cruise lines. Sometimes we have to like call them in. But it was an instance where a family of 5 in this room would be X amount, or it was cheaper to do 3 rooms of 2 people than to have 1 room. So again, back to using a travel advisor, sometimes we can kind of do the math for you or see those different like little weird nuances. So
We love
I
putting
just
the puzzle pieces together for sure.
let's hop into some quotes.
Okay, I'm going to start with MSC. And just to kind of remind you, MSC is a cruise line that really it started out of Europe and has started to expand and has more availability in the Caribbean and areas around the Caribbean and the United States. So I looked at a cruise, a 7-day cruise in July, so July 20th to 27th, 2025. The itinerary is the Bahamas and Mexico. It does leave out of Port Canaveral. The family of 4, I did it based on my family of 4 with an 11-year-old and a 13-year-old girls. Depending on the cruise line, sometimes if your child's under 12, you get kid pricing, and then sometimes it's under 18. It's different across the different ones. So with MSC, you get child pricing under 12, and then you get teen pricing between 13 and 17. So just FYI. And then also just note that all of the prices that we're listing are literally what we've quoted today. Cruise prices they're just like airline prices. They can vary from day to day. So just because we say this price today does not mean that it's going to be the same tomorrow. You're just throwing that out there as a caveat. Okay, so what I was able to do, this was actually a super great price for a family of 4. It is a veranda room. The price is $3,672. I thought that was an amazing price for a 7-day cruise for a family of 4.
That's really good.
Yeah, especially in July. Even though that is in hurricane season, the pricing usually for June and July is still a little bit on the higher side. It starts to get lower in like kind of August, September, October, because those are more the higher risk of a hurricane hitting.
All right. I am going to do one for Princess. This one is 7-day inside passage round trip from Vancouver. This is on the Grand Princess leaving on June 17th. And this is for 2 adults. Princess kind of sets the standard for Alaskan cruising, and they have a lot of partnerships with national parks, state parks, and get special access to places that a lot of the other cruise lines don't. This one is, like I said, leaving from Vancouver. It stops in Juneau, Skagway, and Ketchikan. And then it also has a Dawes Glacier Scenic Day. So they consider it a port day, but you don't get off the ship. And then 2 days sea. This price also includes Princess Premier. Princess has a couple different packages, and this one it includes like your max Wi-Fi, unlimited drinks up to $20 each. So unlimited drinks all day, every day. Anything under that would normally be $20. Unlimited specialty dining, your crew appreciation, which is your gratuities, unlimited premium desserts, unlimited fitness classes, unlimited photo package, princess prizes, reserved theater seating. That's kind of like the top tier of the package. So if you were to break that down with taxes and fees, it comes to $4,488, which I thought was a steal of the deal for the middle of June for Alaska.
Yeah. And just to be clear, the price that I gave on my cruise did not include gratuities or travel insurance as well. So FYI. Okay. My next quote that I pulled was for 2 adults on Norwegian Cruise Line. The ship is Norwegian Prima, and it's also leaving from Port Canaveral. This cruise is a 7-day cruise from April 12th to the 19th of 2026, so next spring. It does include, it's the Caribbean. It includes a day at their private island, Great Stirrup Key, and then Cozumel. This also has a deal with it. It's part of a promotion, basically the onboard experience, more at sea. So it includes unlimited bar, specialty dining. You get excursion credits and Wi-Fi package that are included. And then this is for a balcony stateroom for 2 adults. It is $39,2886 total. And I did not include the prepaid gratuities. If I were to do that, it would be an additional $280 per stateroom. And then if I were going to add the travel protection, it would be an additional $305. So that would kind of bump it up maybe another like $600. So it would be closer to like $4,600 if both of those things were included. But you have to also remember you're getting the unlimited open bar.
Let's jump over to Royal Caribbean. I actually have two different ones. Neither of these are refundable rates. Royal is interesting with their refundable, non-refundable.
They are.
The refundable rate is usually double, almost double always of what the non-refundable is. If you want to get down the nitty-gritty, I can explain it to you, but it's kind of confusing. So,
Just get travel protection on the
yeah.
non-refundable rate. It's so easier.
So these are both 2 adults, 2 children. I just did a 9-year-old and a 6-year-old. Royal is one of the weird ones that I cannot see pricing for 5 unless I call it. So the first one is May 25th, 2025. So in 1 month, it is a 6-night Western Caribbean on the Oasis of the Seas. So you'd leave from Fort Lauderdale and you'd stop at Perfect Day at Coco Cay. Day at sea, you'd go to Falmouth, Jamaica, Labadee, Haiti, which is they have their own beach club there. Another day at sea, and then you're back to Fort Lauderdale. This is for a neighborhood balcony guaranteed room. So you would have a sliding door, but you'd be looking into the middle of the ship. So it can kind of help with seasickness a little bit. It might be a little bit loud because of the neighborhood, and it isn't guaranteed. So I couldn't tell you exactly where on the neighborhood you're going to be, but it is $4,118. So for a family of 4 for 6 nights, I would do that.
Yeah, that's pretty good. And I actually had a family that booked a cruise over this summer, and the parents wanted a room that looked out over the ocean, but they have 2 teenage sons, and they wanted them to have a balcony that looked over the neighborhood because they were like, they're going to want to sit there and people watch, you know?
Mhm.
So depending on your kind of family dynamic or who's doing what and how you have your room split up, you may love having the neighborhood room, that opens up into the neighborhood because you can people watch all day long, if that's something you like to do.
Yes. And I know there are different things like if you're 1 level up from the neighborhood, it's going to be a lot different than if you're 8 levels up from the neighborhood. That's where we can kind of give you some advice because we can see exactly where every room is. Next, I did same family 4. This is on the Utopia of the Seas behind the Icon. This is the biggest ship in the world. They call it a party at sea base. Is that what they call it? Something like
Yeah.
that?
Well, it's like a floating city. The Icon's definitely a floating city. I don't know if Utopia is quite because it's not quite as large, but it's a beautiful ship.
Yes. And the Utopia solely does 3 and 4 night cruises. This is for August 18th, 2025, leaving out of Port Canaveral. You'd have a stop at Nassau. You'd have a stop at Perfect Day at Coco Cay, and then a day at sea. And this is for an ocean view balcony. And it came to $2,970
When is this
for
for?
August.
Oh, yeah. That's a great price.
So
A brand new ship, guys.
if that wasn't like the first week of our school, I might be booking that myself.
But that's why it's such a great price though, because of that. Like they know that makes it harder for people to book and it's starting to get into hurricane season. So it makes a big difference in the pricing.
This price dropped probably $1,000 from the 2 weeks prior. So if you don't start till after Labor Day, call us because you need this cruise. All right. And last but not least, we have Disney Cruise Line, especially for the 3 and 4 night. There are lots to choose from that fit under $5,000. And I have a family. Disney is very good with family 5. So I did put my family, 2 adults, 3 kids, 9, 6, and 3. The one I focused on the most was a veranda room on the Disney Dream. And this is a Halloween on the High Seas, stopping at Disney's Castaway Cay and also at Lookout Cay. So you get a double dip there. And it is September 8th, 2025 for $4,795. You could also do an ocean view room the next week, September 15th, for $4,500. So you're just back in school. You're starting to get a little more into the hurricane season.
For a cruise that's between $4,000 and $4,999, you would get a $200 onboard credit. And for a cruise that is $3,000 to $3,999, it's $150 onboard credit. So those onboard credits can obviously make a big difference in your cruise experience. It's just a gift from our agency for booking through us through Disney Cruise Line.
We didn't have this on our original list, but one thing with Disney Cruise Line specifically that will save you a little bit of money, especially on excursions, is if you stop at the private islands, because the islands are an extension of the ship. So, like your food, some of the activities, your kids' club, those basically you can eat for free off the ship instead of going and finding lunch somewhere else. All right. Well, if you are ready to cruise or are interested in your own quote for your specific dates, let us know. We'd love to help you.
Yeah, there are still some, as you can tell, we did pull some things from this summer and this fall. There are definitely some things that are still available. However, it's April. They will start to go fast, especially on some of the more popular ships like Utopia. It was next to impossible for me to find a room for the family that I worked with, and I almost didn't get I got the very last room of the kind that they wanted, because if it's a popular time, they go quick. And with the Norwegian cruise line that I pulled, when I put in the filters for I wanted a 7-day cruise and I wanted a family of 4 and I blah, 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 Caribbean, there was nothing available until next spring. Those rooms are all booked up. So just think about that. We would love to help you and get you on a cruise this summer and work with you through all the different options. And we hope you enjoyed our episode and that this has been helpful. Please always know that you can send us questions at wanderlustandwishes@gmail.com or at Wanderlust and Wishes on Instagram. We would love to help you out. Have a good week. Bye. Thanks for tuning in to another episode of Wanderlust and Wishes.
If you enjoyed today's episode, don't forget to subscribe and leave us a review on your favorite podcast platform.
And remember, the world is full of wonders waiting to be explored. Until next time, happy travels.
Bye for now.